This time, I'll be trekking into the deep woods of North Georgia, located in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains. At the end of winter, I will be facing a dense wilderness, at times hundreds of yards from civilization, and filled to the brim with hungry animals, just now emerging from a long winter's hibernation.
Okay, I need to go over all the gear I have. I have camera equipment, sleeping bag, I have a bottle of water and matches, and my trusty knife. Another important piece of equipment that I carry with me, my serrated machete. Watch as I demonstrate its effectiveness on this tree. Okay. I'm sure by now someone has made some wise-ass comment about this, but I want to reiterate, it is not a satchel, it is a European shoulder bag, and Elton John has one. So please hold your immature jokes.
It had come time that I put on my big boy pants and moved deeper into the forest.
This is exactly the situation where a machete comes in handy. These branches block my path. Why should I go around them when I can simply do this? The path is now clear. Because this is Metro Atlanta, I need to be cautious of coyotes, raccoons, snakes, even hobos. I brought my knife for protection, but I'm hoping that I don't have to use it.
As I continued on to deeper parts of the forest, I was met with progressively more difficult obstacles. Sometimes, it's necessary to dominate nature, just to make sure it knows you're still winning.
I sustained my first wound. Look at that. I'm holding back the tears at this point.
Other times, though, you have to count your losses and simply move on.
It's time to start looking for where I'm going to be making a camp tonight. So just as I'm taking note of these deer tracks on the ground right next to me, I hear 2 deer just dart off that way. And I see them running off. As I'm trying to set up the camera, a third one runs right past me again. Needless to say, I didn't catch any of them on film, but as I pursued them on foot, I did see various shadows circling me from above. As it turns out, there's 2 giant red-tailed hawks pursuing me the whole time. Probably not the best omen.
I looked all around on my side of the river for somewhere to stay, but in the end, it just didn't look very hospitable.
This is right where I plan to make camp. This rock juts out almost all the way across the river, and I'd be safe from any natural predators and homeless men. I was hoping I could cross right here, but it looks like I'm gonna have to find another way around.
In the end, the only place that I could find suitable for crossing the river was this narrow, eroded pipe. After just barely avoiding death, I decided to check out the local scenery. These writings were presumably left by the native peoples of North Georgia.
The locals tell me that it was on these very tracks where General Lee was forced to sign the Treaty of Versailles, effectively ending the War of Northern Aggression. For now. Alright, I made it to base camp. This is where I plan to spend the night. Now I just have to scout out around the area, make sure everything is safe, look for food if I have to, and take care of various other forms of business. This is in my campsite. I'm almost speechless. All I can say is that must have been one very large bird.
I had to make sure that this side of the river was safe to sleep. After all, it was filled with terrifying relics.
Behold the once mighty tent of the hobo. He inhabited this very spot of land. I'm standing upon a cliff that overlooks the railroad tracks I was once on. There's something very eerie and quiet about this area, and I don't intend to stay here very long. So the infamous hobo lives literally right next door to my campsite. I don't intend on sleeping without my knife and machete in hand. It's going to be a long, scary night for sure. This is my dad's old sleeping bag from college. He calls it the vagina bag. I'm not sure if he calls it that because of the experiences he had with it or the color scheme. Okay, well, I have my campfire set up for the night. I just need to start burning it whenever it starts to get dark.
All in all, my campsite looks pretty snazzy.
Alright, so as you can tell from the shadows behind me, the sun is starting to go down below the horizon, so I'm going to get started on the fire.
It was a cold and dark night. One of the hardest of my life.
That was a damn cold night. So I just found this bundle of sticks right here. I didn't see it when I went to bed last night, but it gives a whole new meaning to taking care of your morning wood.
Despite the chorus of horrible noises that I heard throughout the night, I'd managed to survive the dark hours and even get a few minutes of sleep. Now it was time to pack everything up and go home. As I traversed the dense woodlands, the beautiful scenery evoked some bit of nostalgia from my past. It made me reflect on the journey that I had gone on. A mild euphoria even set in, although that may have just been the severe dehydration.
Okay, so it's nearly noon, so I should be heading in very shortly. The 24 hours are almost up. I have to say the hardest part was not the lack of food or water. In fact, I don't even think I drank half my water. I had one bottle, and it was so damn cold that I never wanted to drink it because I figured it would just make me colder. It's slightly more than halfway full. The hardest part was undoubtedly the cold. Once the sun went down, it was very, very cold. And ironically, the vagina sleeping bag could not keep me warm or comfortable. So, night felt like it lasted much longer than the daytime because of that. But, yeah. Other than that, it wasn't that bad.